Welcome to a basic look, the show where we cover Dungeons and Dragons from a simple perspective. I'm your host, Wally. Today's D&D topic will be the class of the monk. We will look at how they're described in the player's handbook, what fuels all the monk's abilities, what the basic abilities of the monk are, and some interesting aspects of how to roleplay the monk. We're going to look at second level as all the other classes because there are less abilities to cover, and that just makes it so much simpler, which is why we're here. We're here for simple descriptions of things. The monk is also often called a glass cannon because they're hard to hit, and they're hard hitting, but when they are hit, your health can go down a lot faster because you don't always have as much, depending on how you build your monk. Also, the monk is known for punching things with their bare hand. Hands. It's just what they do. They throw hands in the literal sense of the word. Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook describes the monk as a master of martial arts, harnessing the power of the body in pursuit of physical and spiritual perfection. Now, what we're also going to find is that it's best to put your stats, your highest stats, as dexterity and wisdom. Now, listen closely on this. Dexterity will increase the damage of your punches and make you harder to hit. Dexterity is really important, but so is wisdom, because wisdom will also make you harder to hit and make your abilities stronger. Both of these stats, I would say, land in the equal area of importance. There's no this one first, this one second. They're same and same. Now, the first ability we're going to talk about is Unarmored Defense. Yes, much like the barbarian, the monk doesn't wear much armor. In fact, when not wearing armor is when they're at their best, usually. So what this means in stats is that when the monk is not wearing his armor class, or how hard he is to hit, is a 10 plus your dexterity and wisdom modifiers or bonuses, the little number above the big number on your character sheet. That's why these two are so important. They're both really high. You're going to be super hard to hit. Next ability is going to be martial arts. That's simply the ability that lets you punch things at second level. You punch things with so much force that you do about as much damage as a dagger does in the dice-wise. So 1 4-sided dice. That's the same with the dagger. Later on, you do as much as a short sword or a rapier does. It gets crazy, guys. But you can hit a lot more times because of other abilities. Third ability we're going to talk about is Unarmored Movement, because of not wearing armor. At second level, you gain 10 additional feet of movement. Usually people can move 30 feet. Some can move 35 just because. So at second level, you can move 40 feet. 10 feet is a lot. It may not seem like it, but if your game master is specific in details, it's a lot. It's going to help you out so much more. Lastly, we're going to talk about key and key points. This gets difficult. I'm just going to cover it real fast. All right, so here we go. Key is what fuels amongst special abilities. These abilities can range from giving yourself extra attacks, so from 2 attacks to extra 2 more attacks. Yes, that happens. To making yourself harder to hit because you can use a key point to take a certain action. And then you can move faster, so That's Step of the Wind is the ability's name for that. You can use one of your key points and move your whole speed again. 80 feet. Yeah. And at higher levels, you will get even more devastating abilities, such as making a person unable to move until your next turn if they fail a saving throw. Now, you only have limited of these at second level, and that'll depend on your, I believe, just your level. Nothing about your modifiers. Your wisdom modifier does apply to the saving throws. Now, since we're just going to finish those abilities up real fast, we're going to move on to our role-playing. And how do you role-play a monk? Good question. How do you? Because it's up to you. The monk can either be the monk that's secluded in their own little hut, like the hermit kind of thing, or you could do the organization-wise. Organization meaning like specifically made to fight certain crimes, criminals, an organization that's made to gather information or protect certain people or a certain temple because of oaths that they made. Monks are a very unique thing. And even in the real world, when you say monk, it can mean so many different things for so many different cultures. Look at real world culture. Look at pop culture monks. Look at anime monks. I don't care. Look up what you want and just kind of maybe play off that, play off your own ideas. You can be really creative for those. Talk to your game master because he might actually have an idea if you're playing a monk, what kind of organization you're with. Your character is your own person. And despite being a monk, your character's going to have their own desires. You can play them whether they fight their desires or whether they've wholeheartedly embraced them. That could be interesting. And so that's going to cover our roleplay aspect. Please let me know any way you want to play your monk in D&D, kind of any ideas you've seen. If there's really cool ideas you really want to share with everybody, please do. I love ideas. They're awesome. Everybody would probably like to play a cool idea, so don't be afraid to share it. People might want to use your idea. Also, click the like button, subscribe, because there's so much more content on this channel. There's covering sports, photography, trains, and other objects as the like. And we're also, next week, we're going to look at the Paladin, which is kind of often misunderstood and played inappropriately. Not in that inappropriate way, but where it makes the rest of his party mad, and that's not a good thing. So we're going to talk about that next week and how to avoid that for sure. Until then, who will you be?